Hatchet II, it's wild. It picks up right where the first one left off, like not even a second later. Victor Crowley has got Mary Beth, but she's a total badass, right? So she jams something in his eye, he stumbles back into the water, and she just bolts. And who does she run into in the middle of the swamp? Jack Cracker. You know, the old creepy dude from the first movie who was like, don't go in the swamp. So he takes her back to his cabin, and she's totally freaking out, telling him how Victor Crowley killed everyone, her dad, her brother, all of them. And Jack's just like, yeah, I told you guys not to go there. So then he asks her name, and she says Mary Beth Dunstan. And get this, as soon as he hears Dunstan, his whole vibe changes, he gets super weird and is basically like, you need to get out of my house, now. She has no idea what's going on, but he grabs a shotgun and tells her if she wants answers, she needs to find this guy named Reverend Zombie. So she has no choice, she just leaves. But check this out. The second she's gone, Jack hears a noise, and bam, it's Crowley. And he just straight up rips Jack's guts out and strangles him with his own intestines. Like he pulls so hard his head just pops right off. It's insane. Meanwhile, Mary Beth finds Reverend Zombie's voodoo shop in the city. At first, the Reverend is like, nope, we're closed, go away. But then she tells him Jack Cracker sent her, and that gets his attention, so he lets her in. She tells him the whole messed up story, and Zombie's first question is about the tour guide. She's like, yeah, Crowley got him too. And then Zombie spills the beans. Surprise! That was his boat and his illegal swamp tour operation. So Mary Beth asks him what the big deal is with her dad and her last name. And this is where it gets crazy. Zombie's like, okay, you want to know the real story? It all goes way back to when I was just a little kid. So then Zombie lays out this whole crazy backstory. He's like, okay, so way back, Victor's dad, Thomas Crowley, was living out in the swamp with his wife, but she was super sick with cancer, like basically on her deathbed. And Thomas starts having this secret affair with her nurse. He felt bad about it, but his wife was dying and it was all messed up. So one day, they think the wife is finally dead and they're all like, phew, now we can be together. But surprise, she wasn't dead at all and she totally heard them. So with her last breath, she puts this nasty curse on their unborn kid. And get this, when the baby is born, it's Victor and he's so deformed that the nurse, his mom, literally takes one look at him and dies from the shock. At first, Thomas kind of hates Victor, but he's his only kid, so over time, he grows to love him. But then, one Halloween, some local kids pull a mean prank on poor Victor, their house catches on fire, and he gets accidentally killed. A total disaster. 10 years later, his dad, Thomas, dies of a broken heart. And ever since that day, Victor's ghost, or whatever he is, just roams the swamp at night looking for his dad and killing anyone who gets in his way. And Mary Beth is like, okay, but what's that got to do with my dad? And this is the big deal, the huge secret. One of those 3 kids who accidentally killed Victor, it was her dad. So now Mary Beth is all fired up. She's like, we have to go back there, claiming she wants to get the bodies of her dad and brother for a proper funeral, but Zombie can see right through it. He knows she just wants revenge, so he's like, nope, absolutely not. But Mary Beth is smart, and she basically threatens to tell the cops about his whole illegal tour business. So now he has to go, but he has one condition. He's like, fine, but your uncle has to come too. Mary Beth agrees. As soon as she leaves, Zombie starts making calls to assemble a whole crew of tough guy hunters, and he specifically asks for this dude named Trent. Meanwhile, Mary Beth goes to her uncle and tells him everything. Her uncle's just like, Victor Crowley is a dumb ghost story and thinks she should just go to the police, but she begs him to just come with her one time. And he finally agrees. So they all meet back at Zombie's shop with all the hunters. Zombie tells the crew the official story is that they're just getting his boat back for $500. But then he's like, and you might have to hunt something or someone. The second he says the name Victor Crowley, most of the hunters are like, nope, I'm out, and they just leave. But Zombie dangles a bigger prize. He offers Trent double pay and then tells the remaining guys that if they kill Crowley, it's $5,000. That gets their attention. So the small crew gears up and heads for the swamp right as it's getting dark. And of course, their first genius idea is to split up to save time. You'd think they would learn. So Mary Beth, her uncle, Zombie, and another guy named Justin head off to find Crowley's shack while a couple of the other hunters start, trying to catch alligators for some reason. The night is just getting started. Okay, so while the main group is looking for Crowley's shack, those 2 gator hunting guys think the whole thing is a joke. They're like, we're not wasting time on some ghost story. Let's just catch gators and get paid. Then they hear this crazy scream, but they figure it's just one of the others messing with them. So one hunter walks into the bushes to check it out, and bam, Crowley just pops out and totally takes him out with the hatchet. The other guy freaks, starts the boat to get away, but Crowley catches him and shoves his head right into the propeller. It's a total disaster. Meanwhile, get this. Zombie pulls Justin aside and tells him his big master plan. He's like, the 3 kids who caused Victor's death were Mary Beth's dad, her uncle, and Trent, the hunter he paid double to be there. Zombie's whole twisted idea is to let Crowley kill Trent and the uncle.
He thinks once Crowley gets his revenge on all three, he'll finally be at peace, the swamp will be safe again, and Zombie can get his tour business running. So messed up. So they finally find Crowley's house. But there are no bodies inside. Her dad and brother are just gone. Outside, two other hunters, Leighton and Avery, are standing guard, and Crowley just comes out of nowhere and rips Leighton's head clean off. Avery doesn't even see it happen until it's too late, and then he gets hurt too. Then two more hunters, John and Vernon, hear a noise, go to check, and Crowley appears and slices them both in half with one swing. All the screaming puts Trent on high alert. Justin and Mary Beth hide in a room, and that's when Justin spills the beans and tells Mary Beth all about Zombie's psycho plan. She's obviously furious and runs out to try and save her uncle, but Justin shuts the door and shoves a chair under it, thinking he's safe. Big mistake. He turns around, and Crowley is standing right there. He just chops Justin's head off and kills him bad. Then, Crowley smashes through the door and attacks. He grabs Trent, but Trent is a total beast. He actually puts up a huge fight and starts beating the crap out of Crowley. For a second, you think he might actually win, but just as he's about to finish him, Crowley breaks his leg, throws him on a table, and just rips his head right off his body. Zombie sees his chance, drags Mary Beth out of the house, and locks her uncle, Bob, inside with Crowley. And, yep, Crowley kills him. Zombie thinks it's all over, that his plan worked. He's like, see? His revenge is complete. He's gone now. Mary Beth is like, I'm telling the cops everything. So Zombie pulls a gun on her, but then Mary Beth hits her with the biggest surprise of all. She's like, Bob wasn't my real uncle. He was just my dad's best friend. My actual uncle died from cancer years ago. Zombie is just frozen, totally shocked. He looks up, and there's Crowley standing right there with his hatchet. His plan was a total bust. Crowley grabs Zombie and just cuts him in two. He was so wrong. Crowley's revenge was never going to be finished. Then, while Crowley is like ripping Zombie's spine out, Mary Beth grabs the fallen hatchet and just goes nuts on Crowley's face. She hits him over and over and over until his face is just gone. Just a bloody pulp. But get this, his fingers are still moving. So she grabs a shotgun and blasts what's left of his head. But you just know he's still alive. And that's how it ends, setting up the next part. Crazy, right?